Okay, how's everybody doing this evening or this afternoon, I should say, because we're in the daylight time. Actually, 1:47 here on the West Coast in San Diego, California. Of course, my name is Kent. The channel is EOS San Diego, and today I have beside me here, you can see him on the screen, is my son Chase. So we're going to discuss a few things here and hopefully give you some insights as far as challenge application, which is what we've been working on the last few years. And also a little bit about EOS, and a little bit about Bitcoin, and a little bit about the markets, and a little bit about crypto, and just give you some overall information. And plus, this is interactive. So if anybody has a comment, they'd like to contribute, I'm watching the comments. So whatever you put up, we're willing to talk about. So actually, what I usually ask for is a thumbs up to make sure we're live. So if anybody would like to give me a thumbs up to tell us that we're live, I'd much appreciate it. So anyway. Chase, anything to start off with?
No, just hopefully we'll go over some all the new Challenge Act news. A lot going on with the project, and if you guys have any questions, and it sounds like you can drop them in, and we're happy to answer them. Especially I know a lot of times you guys have questions about the new software updates with Challenge and kind of project news. So. We're more than happy to cover all of that today.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please interact with us, because that's what this is about. I shoot these videos sometimes from, let me get straightened up here so I'm in the right place so people can see me. I shoot these videos from the street, but when I shoot them from the street, nobody gets to talk to me. It's only my opinions and analysis. So anyway, if you have a question, and of course there's a lot of people right now, that the market is very interesting because we have Bitcoin going crazy, and of course EOS is still hovering around $4. This channel is built around EOS because we, as developers, decided to build on EOS simply because it was able to handle the application, scale to the application. So that's why we've got on the EOS network, and that's why I built the channel around EOS. But obviously EOS hasn't really, really done as well as Bitcoin. So if you have questions about that, we'd be willing to talk about it. Also, well, heck, let's just pull up the markets and take a look at them right now. Let's take a look at the cryptocurrencies. And actually, Bitcoin is off a little bit today. It was real close to 60,000 yesterday. And of course, 60,000 is getting close to all-time highs. A little over 60,000 is all-time highs. And we have Bitcoin, actually EOS, down around 25, which is where it's been pretty. Last time I made this video a week ago or so, it was about the same price. Actually, it was a little bit lower than this, but it's in the same position as far as cryptocurrencies is concerned. Number 25 in market cap, a little over $4 billion, and of course, Bitcoin's over $1 trillion. So we've got some nice movements here. So let me see. Okay, thank you. Already got a comment. Got a couple comments. So first comment: can you speak on why POS platform like Cardano and Polkadot are doing better than EOS? Appreciate your comment over the past few years. So Iniqui de Selvia, thank you. And also my good friend Mel Pierce. Thanks, Mel. Appreciate your time. You always interact with us. So you guys moving up, challenge over to Telos. Mel, you're on it. You're probably on our Telegram and talking about that on our Telegram. So Chase, that's a great question. Is challenge moving to Telos?
Yeah, well, we're looking into it. It's we've got a chance to talk to Douglas, who is very involved with the Telos project, and they definitely want the Telos developing team and the kind of like that Telos community definitely wants to see challenge run on Telos. So it's just a matter of maybe we're going to do some sort of block or do some sort of grant proposal system on the Telos blockchain. So they got the ability to do a worker proposal system. So like in the beginning of EOS, there was supposed to be like a worker proposal system that didn't get built, but on Telos they have that worker proposal system. So they've been using it as a way to get dApps onto their network. So maybe we'll put in a proposal to see if we can get challenge built on Telos, but that's something that we want to do, and we want to keep support for EOS too, and we might actually add support for other blockchains too. I know we were talking to the Binance Smart Chain people. We were going back and forth with them for a while. They were wanting to see us add support for the Binance Smart Contract chain, but we've spent a lot of time, developing all this code and getting challenged to the point where it has close to 10,000 users, and there's a lot of people, using it every day. So blockchains we can be built on, but we want to, have some sort of shared effort, with the blockchain, a new blockchain. So if we build on Binance Smart Contract chain or Telos, we're looking to get a little bit of help in doing that.
Correct. So let me ask you a question. So, you and I have talked about this. Is there a way to run on multiple chains for an application like ours? So run on Binance, run on Telos, run on EOS. Can we do all of that at the same time without a lot of, a lot of confusion? Can it be done?
Yeah, I think it can be done. So, myself and a few other of the developers, we've been talking about how that would work, and it sounds like obviously going to be a little bit more work to have multiple chains, but I think through the challenge API, so when the challenge front end, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to see a challenge from the Telos blockchain, a challenge from the EOS blockchain, and then just give people support and multiple, give people like multiple accounts, one for Telos, one for EOS, and then maybe another like the Binance Smart Contract chain. And then the cool thing about the Binance Smart Contract chain and Telos here pretty soon is they're both interoperable with Ethereum. So they have gateways to Ethereum. So then we could have, say if we build on Telos or we build on the Binance Smart Contract chain, then we should be able to have an ERC20 token too. And a lot of people who are trading cryptocurrency, they're trading Ethereum. So that'd be a way for us to have an ERC20 token too, have a gateway to it.
Absolutely. And of course, Ethereum is the second overall cryptocurrency as far as market cap is concerned. Ethereum has, a developing community that just really just, dwarfs the EOS community. We as developers look at this and say, they keep coming up with, creative ideas to try and scale Ethereum, but so far we haven't seen it. I mean, and of course the gas fees are getting, the more that it's being used, the higher the gas fees are. So it's very difficult to run an application like ours on the Ethereum blockchain without being super expensive with the resources, and also being able to run all the transactions without having a CryptoKitty moment. So,
Yeah, like technically we couldn't even run, if we wanted to run challenge on the actual application on Ethereum, we couldn't, so, there's, although Ethereum is the second biggest token and it's got, a lot of volume, a lot of people trading it, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's all that functional. Like, for example, like we were just saying, we can't be built on Ethereum. We could have an ERC20 token with a bridge to another network like a Telos or a EOS or a Binance Smart Contract chain, but we couldn't run on Ethereum. The network just wouldn't work.
Yeah, and this is an interesting dilemma, because I was watching. There's a channel that I watch. Here, let me just pull it up. It's I'll go to YouTube. Take a look at this guy's channel, because very interesting channel. Yeah, in fact, he had a very interesting guest on the other day. It's Lex. I think his name is Lieberman. No, that's not him. Lex. Alex, not Alex. Lex Friedman is what it is. There he is. Okay, this guy had a guest on the other day. This is his name is, and I think I got the body turned off. Let's get through this this thing. This guy had one of the greatest minds in crypto on his podcast. Silvia Micalea. This guy's Italian, and he's from MIT, and he's got his own blockchain. But anyway, if you listen to this very interesting podcast, but he's basically he breaks blockchain down into three categories. Basically, it's security, scalability, and of course decentralization. And what he says is he goes, you've got decentralization with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you have security with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but you do not have scalability, and this is a real problem. And this is a mathematician, and this is one of the greatest mathematicians in the world. He actually has won lots of contests and gotten, all this. There's a lot of rewards that you get as far as solving mathematical computations, and this guy's won a lot of them. He basically says that the trying to fix proof of work is almost impossible. In fact, he's come up with his own blockchain. His blockchain has something to do with tokens are given out, and then there's a lottery system to determine who gets to build the block. Very interesting. You can read about it or hear about it on his podcast. But here's the greatest one of the greatest mathematicians in the world today telling you you're not going to fix the scalability problem with Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is very interesting to me. And the interesting part about it to me is that even though they're never going to fix the scalability problem, the idea of being able to have real world resources or being able to have anybody randomly be a block producer or be able to build a block is something people like. They like the idea that there's like a mining process, that it is using electricity to solve a problem. They like the idea that, as Vitalik would say, anybody with a laptop can mine Ethereum. So these concepts and ideas, even though they're not really all that workable, are still part of our feelings of what we want the world to be like. I mean, maybe not realistically, but this is what people like. Now, as we developers, we realize that, it's so much simpler to run a simple application on a blockchain that is scalable because there's already pre-selected block producers doing that. But this is the convergence of the world, and how it works out, I don't know. But I said in my last podcast or my last live stream, people aren't going to want to give up proof of work. What do you think, Chase?
Yeah, I think it's I think what happened with, like a Bitcoin could get away with not being scalable a little bit more than an Ethereum can, because people aren't doing as much with Bitcoin. Like, they're just sending it back and forth. But something like Ethereum should be like a smart contract, a virtual machine, which is supposed to be, not really a store of value, but like people are running dApps on it, people are running different things on it, and it's having a hard time scaling in that way. I mean, the only thing that it's really worked for is like ICOs or just people trading a simple token back and forth. But I think so many people, there's so much of the cryptocurrency community has made so much money off of Ethereum that they don't want it to not win. They don't want it to not be like, because I think so many people bought it when it was below $10, and they've made a lot of people are heavily invested in Ethereum. It's got a $30 billion market cap. So that's a $30 billion of crypto money of holders that don't want to see Ethereum not perform and not live up to its expectations. But in reality, as far as developing or as far as creating something that is, has some sort of real world value or real world application, is way behind something like EOS, although it's EOS is a fraction of the price. So it's just one of those odd things.
So could something like Challenge scale from an ERC20 token?
Well, we have the CHL token, which is a token that we're letting people use to vote on the application. And so any project that whenever they have their simple token that's being traded on exchanges or whatever, you can have that on Ethereum, and that everyone seems to be all right with their ERC20 tokens. But when you are on the challenge application, you're going and you're making a challenge, and that's getting posted to the blockchain, and then you're rewarding people on the blockchain, and you're doing like transactions that are complex. You got a complex smart contract on there, and then you got it interacting with the front end in real time, and you're wanting things to blocks to be finalized very quickly. Yeah, you can't really do that with Ethereum, but we do it very well with EOS. So, but yeah, it just wouldn't be possible to do that on Ethereum.
And of course, if we run on multiple blockchains, we're running with multiple different validators or block producers. So there'd be a set of block producers from Telos. There'd be a set of block producers from EOS, and of course, there would be mining going on with the ERC20 token on Ethereum. Correct?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people have argued that Ethereum is a more decentralized network, which I guess you could say it is. There's anyone can be a block producer. I guess it's easier to produce a block. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard of too many people mining it now, but I mean, maybe it's possible to mine Ethereum on your laptop. So in a way, it could be more decentralized. But if we're trying to develop a blockchain application, we're concerned with it working, and yeah, it needs to be decentralized, but it needs to have performance too. So Ethereum is very decentralized, but it doesn't have any good performance. And I don't know, at a certain point, if people kind of wake up to that and Ethereum starts to die out, or I think what people are doing, like you see this with the Binance smart contract chain, is they're trying to incorporate Ethereum into their chain. They're trying to be compatible with Ethereum, but then still kind of have their own side chain that they're trying to get traffic on.
Okay, good. I see where I got another comment here, Mike Blunt. He says, I have been slowly changing my EOS to Telos for the past year. I think if EOS is successful, then it will help Telos. So, they are sister chains, right? They're basically built on the same software. So EOS.io and Telos are pretty much the same as far as their core coding. So what is the difference? Because you talked to Telos, yesterday or the day before, you talked to the guys up in
like day before.
Okay.
But we had been we've been chatting before that, but I got on a phone call like 2 days ago.
So what is it that really makes the difference? Is it the governance, or is it the worker proposal plan project that helps adapts be able to be to raise some sort of funds in order to operate? What is it that about Telos that people are starting to gravitate? Because I noticed on here, I just would check out Blocktivity. I noticed that Telos is right now the number one. I think it does more transactions than anything.
Yeah, I've seen where it's been as high as number 2, but I haven't seen it recently.
Yeah, Blocktivity. I'm checking it out right now. So we got Telos and Blocktivity. Let's take a look. Bring it up here. So yeah, we got Telos number 1, and Telos is running in the last 24 hours 17 million transactions, and EOS is running. Yeah, we're running 11. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. So you talk about like a really undervalued blockchain. You can put EOS in that category, but wow, Telos is really in that category.
Yeah, I mean they're 7 or 6 million more transactions in 24 hours than actually EOS. So something about
that's the first time I've seen it be busier than EOS. So
me too. Well, yeah, in my last live stream I saw that too, and I was shocked. I mean, I hadn't looked at Blocktivity for a while. In fact, they changed their interface a little bit. But yeah, I saw that they were running more transactions than EOS, and I was really shocked. And what's really funny is Ethereum's number 9, and of course BTC is number 12. So and it looks like EOS has actually lost 22% of activity in the last 7 days. So this is the thing. The thing about it is for 3 years now, I've been talking about EOS. And it seems like they do everything correctly. I mean, they get the waiver from the Security Exchange Commission. They buy a bunch of Bitcoin. I mean, they're doing everything right. They have a delegated proof of stake. They have, they worked on the governance. They do everything correct. But it just never seems to materialize in the market. I mean, you got an opinion on that?
Yeah, it's they perform, but they it's I don't know. I think sometimes Dan's got a bad he had a bad reputation from the beginning of always leaving projects, and that kind of shown to be the case here. But I mean, the technology works. It's even like Hive. Hive got built, or I guess it was used to be called Steemit, but Steemit got built like 4 years ago, and it's still one of the best, like one of the most active chains. It still's governed pretty well. So you know, but yeah, it hasn't materialized. I'm surprised it hasn't materialized more in market capitalization. Just probably not enough DApps. There just hasn't been, they just don't have enough going on. There hasn't been really any big DApps. I mean, we're probably I think last month challenge was either one or two most used social DApp. So
yeah, we can pull that up. Let me take a look at that right now.
Yeah, go to Challenge DAC Twitter.
I always do this one. I don't know if it's a good one or not. Can we figure it out from here?
Maybe, but if you go to the Challenge DAC Twitter, they posted like a poster showing how we were either the first or second busiest app on EOS. Yeah. And there should be a link. It's or go down a little bit.
Oh, right there?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, let me pull this up. Okay, there we go.
So yeah, this is top 20 social dApps by ecosystem for 30-day volume. And EOS, you can see where they have us with discussions app, so as the busiest social app on EOS.
There we go. So Challenge DAC is one of the busiest apps on EOS. And I think that if you go I always go to this site. If you go to EOS, if you go to social, I think we're number one. Actually, yeah, we are number two on social. But
actually, we are number one by users.
Okay, let me take a look. 24-hour users.
Yeah, go 20.
Actually, maybe number three. But that changes daily. But I always look at the social signal too.
And then sometimes we get shortchanged by some of the trackers because everyone has a sub account on Challenge EOS, so they're seeing all this activity come from one smart contract, but they don't know that the one smart contract is basically 10,000 people are using that. They only see one smart contract address name, and sometimes
right.
that
yeah, we're running. Yeah, here's two smart contracts we're running on Challenge U and Challenge DAC.
Yeah. So, yeah, Challenge DAC is the token, and then Challenge U is the application.
Okay. Yeah, so we lose because we're actually only being probably measured by Challenge DAC, which is the contracts for the actual transactions, right? Not the amount of users that are using the UX and UI, right?
Yeah.
User interface, user experience. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is blockchain was built for applications. And it seems that the applications have been, the problem with the blockchain, and especially smart contract blockchains. So, everybody has these ideas, but they never materialize, and nobody ever really builds anything. So if they don't build anything, these blockchains don't ever have, any users. And if you got a few thousand users using a blockchain, that's not going to drive $1 billion market cap, which is what's going on with a lot of this stuff. I mean, if you look at, this is how wild and crazy the crypto world is. You got Cardano sitting here, with the market cap of $41 billion, and I think the chain's yet to be launched, correct?
Yeah, and the highest market cap that EOS ever had was before it launched. So go figure.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
EOS got up to like $22 per
yeah,
token before it had even launched. So
yeah. And the thing that's always funny to me is you got Ethereum here, and of course it's got a $205 billion market cap. It's got it's huge market cap, but the real Ethereum, the Ethereum that got forked, the one that actually is the Ethereum.
this is the original one, one that it's been around longer, and this was actually the original Ethereum.
Yeah, where's it at? It's clear down here. So
Ethereum,
I can see
Ethereum
it.
Classic.
Yeah, the Ethereum Classic isn't even showing up on. Looks like the top 100.
Oh, there. I think I saw it down.
Where's that?
Maybe it's 50 or 60.
Let me see real quick if I can find it. It's hard when you're scrolling through these to find it. There it is. Ethereum Classic
Yes,
64.
like 64.
So actually, the Ethereum, the real Ethereum, the Ethereum that was originally developed, is actually $1.4 billion, and that is quite a bit less than EOS right now. EOS is about $4 billion. So EOS is actually doing better than Ethereum in the real world, and not this forked world of, the Ethereum that got forked because of the hack. So it's kind of funny. So the problem is there's a lot going on here, and I really think that a lot of people miss the subtleties of the blockchain. I mean, they're just looking at. I mean, obviously, to me, I've thought about this quite a bit. In fact, I got an article here I was going to pull up. It's about Bitcoin, and I've changed the name of the channel from, EOS San Diego to EOS Bitcoin San Diego, because I actually firmly believe Bitcoin is so well entrenched. It is so immutable. It is so, it's gaining so much market value. So many people are looking at this as a store of value that it really is going to, pretty much suck up all the financial world. And that's my opinion. That's what this is about. This article, and I won't read it to you, but it basically tells you how this entire financial system is going to get sucked up into a few million Bitcoin. Here, I'll just read something to you real quick that is kind of interesting, if I can find it. It's a little bit further down here. Maybe it's a little bit further up. But basically, they talk about the real estate market. The real estate market is, and I should have highlighted this, but I didn't. Feel free to jump in here while I'm looking at this for this, Chase. Okay, I can read right here. The entire global financial system will need to be condensed into these coins. In addition to the final 2.4 million coins which have yet to be mined to be created over time, between now and the end of the 2140, there's roughly 2.1 quadrillion of monetary energy in the world, a number that is drastically increasing. If hyper Bitcoinization were to occur right now, this 2.1 quadrillion must be compressed into 2.4 million Bitcoin left on exchanges. Quadrillions are massive numbers, and no one can reasonably wrap their mind around it. So let me know that they're down to this small number example. So the S&P is currently at 31.6 trillion, or in Bitcoin terms, 554,385,964. Well, there is 21 million Bitcoin ever to be mined, and we know a lot of those have been lost, and not all of them have been mined. So you're trying to compress trillions into a few million Bitcoins. Well, what's that going to make Bitcoin? It's going to make it go into the hundreds, if not the millions of dollars, because the thing about Bitcoin, and I think people miss this, because I listened to this, Ben Shapiro. He's a guy, I'll pull him up here. A lot of people like to watch Ben Shapiro. He's a guy that's a younger guy. I think he kind of connects with a lot of the younger people that are entrepreneurs, and he's good to listen to. He's got a lot a lot of followers. But anyway, I listened to an hour-long program about Ben Shapiro and Bitcoin, and where's he at? Right here, Ben Shapiro. And you can watch it if you like. But basically, Ben tries to make Bitcoin into a stock or a, some sort of investment vehicle like Tesla. He tries to say, well, it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to have its fluctuations. Obviously, there's a lot of volatility in Bitcoin, but he doesn't really ever understand or grasp what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin literally is the invention of the computer. Bitcoin is the invention of electricity. Bitcoin has created something that has changed the world in such a way that can never be undone. And what people don't realize about Bitcoin is Bitcoin, not knowing who the inventor or knowing that it has any affiliation with any country or any group of people, actually helps Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is agnostic. Nobody really knows who the creator of Bitcoin is. All we know about Bitcoin is it's digital money, and it works as digital money, and it's the only digital money that really has all the elements of what people want, which is some real world resources being used to create it, and the fact that it's very, very digitally friendly, where you can just put it out there, you can transact all over the world, you can hold it, it's a store of value. So Bitcoin, people look at this today and they're going, oh my God, it's $50,000, it's $60,000. We've missed the boat. You haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg as far as where Bitcoin is going. And the other thing about Bitcoin is there's a magicalness about Bitcoin that I believe is just beyond human understanding. And one of them is Bitcoin arrived on the scene just at the correct time, right at the banking crisis in 2009. That's Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is again, just happening right at the right time, because we have massive stimulus going on in this country. We have coronavirus. We have the slowdown of a lot of our infrastructure is slowing down because of people now. Just like I see now where they're delaying, your return for your taxes. You have now till, and don't quote me on this, but I think it's May 17th to file your taxes. No longer April 15th. Now it's May 17th. They're giving you another 30 days, a little over 30 days to file your taxes, because of the disruption of Corona. So it's disrupting the world right now, and right now we need a stable store of value in order to be able to not lose financial buying power, giving ourselves some safe haven for our what's going on in the world today, with massive fiat currencies being printed like crazy in order to keep this economy from imploding, because there's been a lot of lost jobs, been a lot of lost opportunities, been a lot of lost everything. So everything's kind of falling apart. At the same time, this is the time where Bitcoin is reaching its $1 billion market cap. And I think that Bitcoin as a store of value will overtake gold, which is 10 billion. So you got 10 times from here for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's sitting at $57,000 right now. Probably it'll be a $500,000 Bitcoin here pretty quickly, because it will take over gold.
It wasn't all that long ago when it did break the $1 billion for the first time. The market cap was $1 billion. I think that could have been like 2014, 2015.
Did I say maybe. Billion or trillion? I meant trillion.
Yeah, but it's a trillion now, but it wasn't that long ago when it was a $1 billion market cap.
Yeah, you showed me some of your transactions where you were buying Bitcoin, what, $300?
Yeah, like $300-$400. Yeah, that was only in 2016, early 2016.
And you told me you were worried about those prices. You're going like, I'm really scared.
Yeah, because in late 2015, early 2016, Bitcoin its highest was $1,200, which it reached in 2013, the end of 2013. So fast forward to 2016, Bitcoin is like $400, so it's a third of the price of its all-time high, and it's 2-3 years later, and people were saying, hey, Bitcoin's dead, is this thing's just dying, this is it's not, and so yeah, when $400 or $500, it was kind of that was the market price, and people were thinking it could go up or it could go down. So
Well, the thing about it is that Bitcoin has reached its tipping point of being able to, for people like Janet Yellen to talk about it. Actually, the new Gary Gensler, who's going to be the new Security and Exchange Commission commissioner, he's talking about it. I mean, there was a day where all these people ignored Bitcoin. In fact, it wasn't that long ago we talked about this. You couldn't even run an ad on Facebook or YouTube about cryptocurrencies because they were considered, to be dark web, Silk Road, only for money launderers, and now you got people like Elon Musk, Michael Saylor, a lot of these other, Wall Street people are starting to buy into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is, at the price it is today, I believe it's a greater value than even when you could have bought it at $300 or $400. Even though $300 or $400 was a long time ago, and you could have made exponentially more money with that Bitcoin than today. But today, at least, it's not going to zero, and today it's probably not going to be, eliminated, because if it's eliminated or it's going to zero or something like that, you have a lot of Wall Street people that have staked their reputation on it.
There's no more Bitcoin is dead articles, like
exactly
4 or 5 years ago, you would see it would be a common thing where you'd say, Bitcoin would go from like $400 or $500 and would drop $50 in a day, go down 20%, and then some sort of news outlet would come out and say Bitcoin is dead now. Bitcoin is dead. It's no one. That's not logical anymore. No one's saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to zero. I mean, I guess there's still crazy people out there thinking that, but no one's thinking it's going to go to zero.
Yeah, I think Warren Buffett has pretty much lost his argument. When he calls it rat poison and says that it's nothing but I don't know what he said. He said a bunch of stuff about Bitcoin that was it didn't make any sense. But of course, he didn't buy Microsoft either. So this is where I was going to read. It said, this is the one I was looking for earlier. It says the entire global real estate market is estimated to be worth $380 trillion. Okay, you got Bitcoin right now at $1 trillion. So $380 trillion, or in Bitcoin terms, 6.6 billion Bitcoin. Now, the one thing about Bitcoin, and I don't hear anybody talking about this, that there is just millions of Bitcoin. There's not billions of Bitcoin. There are millions of Bitcoin. So you're literally going to have to compress all of this world value for all these things that have exponentially increased in value because of money printing are all going to have to be resucked back into a few million Bitcoin, which is going to make Bitcoin literally, if a store of value, and I think it's going to be a store of value for the world, literally, into the hundreds, if not the millions of dollars. The first time I heard $1 million Bitcoin, I think from John McAfee, I thought it was crazy. But now that I listen to it and read articles like this, I realize that that's very achievable, $1 million Bitcoin. Okay, let me read a little bit more here. We got Mel Pierce again. He says, and the time potential to send. Okay, the higher the price, the higher the transaction costs. How did he said he did get along, just wanted to build Bitcoin or build dApps for the benefit of the world rather than B1's profits. This is Mike Blunt. It appears that Dan could get along with the other Block One management. That's a good point. Let's talk about a little bit about Dan Larimer. So Dan has left the EOS development team, even though I see that he's on this one forum where he's answering questions about governance, but he's gone. How do you think that affects EOS with the main guy, kind of the person that had the name recognition because of Steemit and BitShares, having him be gone? What do you think that does for EOS?
It doesn't help it. I mean, that was one thing. He was saying that he was going to be there for 10 years and stick around, and obviously the dude is a great blockchain engineer. So having him at a company is definitely a huge advantage. But um, a lot of that is, you realize that right now Block One has probably $10 billion in Bitcoin. They're a big organization. Their code's already been built. They got, lots and lots of developers. So, maybe it doesn't change things all that much, but it it definitely probably is not the best thing, but in reality, it's probably not the worst thing. I think Block One with the billions of dollars they have are going to stick around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going anywhere, because that's one thing that people forget about the Ethereum Foundation. The Ethereum Foundation, I don't know what they have right now, but it's in the millions of dollars. They got like 20-30 million dollars. So they're not like someone like Block One, which right now, government lobbying, they're doing, they got an SEC waiver, which cost them $34 million or 30-something million. I think that could be more than the whole Ethereum Foundation has. I don't even think they have $30 million right now.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, so or EOS is able to pay a fine bigger than the whole Ethereum Foundation. So
Right.
they're probably going to continue to pull, they're going to try to continue to, probably get governments on there, get government contractors on there, and that sort of thing. So, I've heard a lot of speculation of maybe that's why Dan left, is because they were going in a route where they were going to do more KYC, they were going to do more cooperation with the government, which, that could be a good thing for EOS price-wise down the road. So I think there's a lot of life in EOS yet. Still, people realizing what an early industry this is. This whole industry is not much older than 10 years old. EOS is less than 3. Ethereum is 5-6 years old. So
yeah, and that's a good point, because Bitcoin has been around since 2009, and of course, Vitalik came up with the smart contract idea, or he at least brought it forth with Ethereum. That's only been around a few years. So, I mean,
I think 2014,
the
2013
smart,
or 2014.
yeah, the smart contract part of this equation being Bitcoin store value, and then we have smart contracts running on a blockchain. And of course, I listened to Lex Friedman's interview with the mathematician. I can't remember his name, Savio or something, but he was talking about, yes, this is the new, and he believes that it is, the new direction the world's taking. That everything will be run on this open ledger. That and it has so many, benefits to be able to have the ability for people to see transactions to be recorded, and for things to have history, and be able to, it's like right now here for Google with blockchain, Google with EOS, they're block producers, but they're trying to build history. They're trying to recreate the entire blockchain, so they have an archive of the entire EOS blockchain before they actually start block producing. Well, this is what the world's coming to. It's coming to an open ledger with the archive of everything that's happened, and this is going to make everything recordable, on an open ledger with the blockchain, with the smart contract, and it's going to make the world function in a much more organized way. So the idea of a smart contract blockchain is still yet to be developed and understood and fully utilized. We're just in the very early stages of that. Although Bitcoin's become mainstream.
Yeah, something like challenges on the frontier of that right now.
Yeah, we're on the frontier of that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and and the thing about challenge, which is very interesting, is that people in countries that are, striving for, a better, way of transacting, are more into cryptocurrencies and blockchain than the people that are in the United States with, banks on every corner. So we're getting our usage. The people that are using this are from countries that understand, the value of a blockchain, the value of an open ledger, the value of the ability to not have a fiat currency that is being devalued by the day, by the hour, by the minute, by the second.
Yeah, like United States users probably aren't even on the top 10 list for challenge users. There's way more users from Indonesia, from Bangladesh, from Nigeria. So as far as countries and users where or countries where the users are from, I think we got a few from the United States, but it's got to be low. It's probably one of our lower. Um, Probably doesn't even go on the top 20 list.
Yes, very interesting. And I was listening to my good friend Felix. In fact, I would like to bring Felix up here because there's a lot of people that have helped us with and I think I wiped everybody out because let me get back to where was that. There's a lot of people that have helped us out as far as our challenge application, and you probably want to mention a few people too, but
Yeah, it's like City Mills. I know some of you guys who are involved with the challenge application see a lot of stuff from City Mills. He's done a lot to. He's been one of the key members to create a lot of challenges and run a lot of challenges. And then Willow, and we nickname him the Challenge Master because he makes a lot of challenges and gives out a lot of rewards.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to mention Felix because he's making some pretty good videos for us, and he's talked a little
he's
bit.
done a lot of great content.
He's made a lot of great content. One of his videos, and I think I was watching one of them here not too long ago, was talking about how EOS is being used right here. This is the one I was talking about. EOS being used as money in Venezuela. So here's a country that is obviously, the currency is very, very, it has very little value. So they've already tripped to the fact that, hey, we need to come up with some better way of transacting, because if we don't have a better way of transacting, our quality of life, our standard of life, what we have, what we can buy, is becoming very, very, it's making us very poor. And so, he made a video about this, and of course he's made some videos about challenge too. And I just wanted to recognize him, let him know that we appreciate all his good work.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a coincidence that probably one of the countries that we're used the most in is Venezuela. That we
exactly.
Got users from Venezuela. And they seem like one of the places that are most savvy with crypto.
Exactly.
Venezuela,
exactly.
Nigeria, Indonesia.
So the thing about it is this is a worldwide phenomenon. This is not a Silicon Valley in the 1980s, 1990s, and the 2000s, where a lot of this technology was pretty much in Europe and the United States. What we're dealing with today, is coming from places around the world that generally aren't technology areas. I mean, Bangladesh or other places in the world that don't haven't been able to participate in this this global higher standard of living world that is taking place right now. But they're getting it quicker than the other. The thing about governments, and people talk about this all the time, some governments want to throttle back on cryptocurrencies. They want to be able to regulate them. They want to be able to control them. They want to be able to make sure that they don't, take over the national currency. I think Trump was real big on that. He didn't want cryptocurrencies to overtake the dollar or anything like that. The more government or governmental bodies start to, limit this, will open the doors for countries that are trying to get some, to be open to this, to allow people to come. I mean, we have this in states too, like Wyoming right now, I guess, is very, very crypto friendly. So people are going to gravitate, their businesses or their cryptocurrencies from that state. That's the way it's countries. The countries that want to be open to this, and it is inevitable. I mean, this Salvatore that was on Lex Friedman, he basically says the gig is up. The world's going to cryptocurrencies. And if you don't want to believe it, then fine, you're just going to be behind. But it's going to cryptocurrencies, and this is the way it's going to be. So governments that are more freely allowing this to happen, governments that are giving the cryptocurrencies supports. Of course, China's coming up with their own cryptocurrency. These are the countries that are going to be the forefronts of the. They're going to be the economic leaders in the world, and not the country that are trying to keep it from happening. So it's up to the people to use it and to force their governments to allow them to use it. Because if they don't, it's just they're not going to be part of the new world economy. So that's kind of the way it's happening right now. Okay, so guess we've been going on here for a little bit, probably over an hour. Anybody else have a comment? Please let me know. If you don't, then we're probably going to sign off here pretty quick. So basically, everybody's just kind of interested in Telos. Telos has been very popular here lately.
Yeah, we'll have more on that soon.
Mm-hmm. And we have been, the good thing about Telos is they're up in Seattle, Washington. Is that where they're at?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they were saying they're up in Seattle.
So we're on the West Coast. They're on the West Coast. So we're in the same time zone.
Yeah, the same time zone.
Yeah, so
that's just one guy. So I don't know. I'm sure they have a team. They got people all over, but.
Well, it's easy. It's like we deal with so many people around the world that it's kind of difficult sometimes to set schedules around other people's time zones. But it's nice to be able to communicate with people in the same time zone we're at.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a rare thing in crypto.
Yeah, that's a rare thing.
On the same time zone as you.
Yeah. So where do you see us going anytime soon? You think it's headed up pretty quickly, or what do you think? Where we're at right now? What's your prediction?
Yeah, it'll probably keep going up. I mean, one thing that surprised me is, it looks like that we're going into another bull cycle, or we are in another bull cycle, and how much Ethereum is still holding on, and how well things like Uniswap are doing. I mean, Uniswap is like number 8.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. If getting on Telos or Binance Smart Contract, we might be able to be traded on Uniswap. But Uniswap is going crazy.
Now is Uniswap is that always wrapped with ERC20, or how does Uniswap work?
Yeah, it's a ERC20 DEX, so it's like a decentralized exchange for ERC20 tokens.
Okay.
So it's yeah. So I mean, it's something that we'd like to get on, but it's just surprising how big it's gotten. It's gotten very big. But I mean, it's hard to imagine when you got Block One with so much money, you got all the stuff that they're doing, that EOS will still stay in the sub 25 or sub 20.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's they should be in the top 10, and I think that they probably will end up back in the top 10 pretty soon.
Well, Chase, they used to be like top 4 or top 5.
Yeah, I think that they've gotten up to the top 3 or 4 before.
Yeah, so I mean, I remember back in the day we were thinking maybe they might even take number 2, but they never seemed to, get that thing going on. So Michael Heck says Telos in Miami, so maybe Telos is in Miami. I don't know. What about Liquid Apps? I have Mel Pierce asking me about Liquid Apps. What do you know about that?
I think it's like a resource exchange for apps. So what we found is there's a lot of projects that. Like there's the Rex, there's a lot of projects involved with resource exchanges on the chain, but it's not too big of a deal right now because none of these apps are really having to use a lot of resources. I mean, for us, we usually rent our EOS from the Rex and get our rent our EOS as staked for the application, just so we can get as much EOS as we need and whatever. And we never spend more than like an EOS or two, like $5-10 a month to on our resources. So, and that's with a couple thousand people. Sure, if we go up to 50, 100,000, then we have to do 10 EOS instead of 1. But still, that's not too much of an issue. So, any projects that are centered around like resource exchanges on chain, they might look appealing, but I don't know how needed they are right now. And
And
my
of course,
understanding is DApp token is some sort of resource exchange deal like that for dApps.
we were talking to EOS Nation, where there's talking about how the resource center has changed, how the resource is going now to, it's it used to be 30-day resource. Now it's 24 hours, and they're changing a little bit about the way they do that. So, and I'd like to get, those guys on and let them talk a little bit more about that. So that'll probably be my last interview. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody else you'd like to mention that's been helping out with the project? Besides George, Will Patrick,
George, City Mills, they've been, doing a lot of great stuff. And then just all the challenge users. I mean, every day we're getting more users, more people are posting and participating in the challenges. So that's just the lifeblood of the project right now, is people who are participating and posting challenges. So, thank you to anyone who's doing that.
So how are we doing with Google Play?
We're live in Apple and Google Play right now.
Okay,
so
good.
Everything's live, so you can go download Challenge EOS, and we're live in Apple and Google, and we're free to download, and you get 20 CHL tokens for free just for downloading.
Okay, good. So we're on version 7. We're live in Apple. We're live in iOS. It's Challenge EOS is how you find the application. And if you download it, you get 20 free tokens. And then there's a spinning wheel. And I think if you spin the wheel, you could get how much is this wheel up to?
We put the graphics up on there. So let me see what we're up to. So you can see, you can see like the balance there. But at 67 EOS, so we're up to 67 EOS in the prize pool. So what's the EOS at, like $4 right now? Yeah, so 60. So you're looking at like $300, a little over $300 probably.
Oh, did someone win the $1,000 when it was up at $1,000? Somebody win that?
Maybe it's a little bit smaller, so someone must have won. So
somebody won $1,000.
Yeah, or maybe someone won like 80% of it or whatever. I don't know what the statistics are set up as, but I know like you got a chance of winning all of it. Maybe you have a greater chance of winning 20% of it, and then a greater percent of winning a greater prize. But all that in the bonus wheel is up for grabs as far as prizes.
Okay, Johnny says B1 Block 1 started to fund EOS projects today. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything like that, but we'll keep our eyes out. I know that, we've interacted with them before. There was one person from EOS VC that we dealt with. They were nice, and we corresponded with them back and forth. But when it got down to, it was for their grant, for their $50,000 grant, and we even sent over our slides and had them looked at it, and they got back to us and they're like, well, everything looks good, but the tokens traded on the EOS chain. And then they didn't want to give any grants to tokens that are traded on the EOS chain. So it's like, I think that they've gotten so much money that they're scared to do anything. They're scared of losing their money and all their corporation with all their Bitcoin. So they're just, they're not really, they seem like they're having a hard time really connecting with people on the chain building stuff. So maybe they're waking up and realizing they got to do more to support people building on their network, but it's there's been lacking thus far.
Yeah, and so far that's the difference between Telos and EOS. Is Telos has been supporting
dApps. Yeah, and Telos has probably a fraction of the resources, a fraction of everything, but they at least got the intention of like trying to, whereas Block 1, sometimes you get the feeling of they're just kind of oblivious to anything,
Correct.
As far as the developers. So, but that may change. Maybe they'll come out and start, supporting people in a big way. And I know they pledged, I I think $1 billion, $900 million to, support development on their chain. So maybe that money starts coming out now.
Yeah, hopefully so. And also, someone's asked about the Telegram link. How to get a hold of Challenge on Telegram?
It's just Challenge DAC. I think Challenge DAC, or you probably just put the link in your video.
Yeah, I just
you
put
know.
it usually below.
Yeah.
But like you
So
say, it's just Challenge DAC, isn't it? Challenge DAC on Telegram.
yeah, I think it's just Challenge DAC on Telegram. So
Okay, so if you got a question, let me know before we sign off here. As somebody asks, how do you feel about EOS now? I think it's cheap. I mean, I was talking to EOS Nation. They think it's cheap. Everybody thinks it's cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, and it was funny because when I was listening to this, when I referred to this Lex Friedman's with the Salvatore, he's an MIT guy, and he was talking about EOS as 21 block producer, but he actually didn't mention EOS, but he was talking about the EOS concept. So EOS has the attention of a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that are very interested in the EOS project, but they just haven't quite, I think, and my biggest thing is that the 21 block producer centralization is just not quite as exciting as proof of work and everybody someone being able to mine from a laptop anywhere in the world. There's just there's just a feel about that. No matter how much one is superior to the other, people just they like what they like, and what they like is they like the idea of mining around the world for anybody that has a laptop. So it's kind of hard. And plus the community, and of course the power of Vitaly Buterin, who is able to communicate with people and have people get people's confidence as far as blockchain, and the developers. They got a huge developing community that they were a little bit of first movers too.
Yeah.
Okay, so EOS future, how do you feel about it? I feel good about it. I've been watching EOS for a long time. Like you said, it was $21 before the chain even launched. Here we've got applications. They've got a bunch of Bitcoin. They got the waiver from the Security and Exchange Commission, and the price is $4. So that's not even logical. I mean, when you got the chain before it even launches, trading at $21, now you have a couple of years worth of activities without a problem. I don't think, have we ever been down with challenge because of something with EOS?
No, we've never had any. Any times that things have been kind of run slow, or we've had some sort of bug or something, it's usually been our code, and it's never really been anything from EOS and or from the chains. And so at one point they have in one respect they've created a chain that's fast, that works, that hasn't really hasn't had any censorship issues, that's pretty much done everything that it said it was going to do. I mean, I remember when they came out and they said, oh, we're going to be able to run 4,000 transactions per second, and this is 2017 and Ethereum can't do more than 10 or 15. You're thinking, wow, they're really going to be able to accomplish that 4,000 transactions per second? But they've gotten to that point, and I think they've even gone surpassed that a little bit. But I think the future's bright for them. I mean, we're creating their future too. I mean, every time people are getting on Challenge and interacting with Challenge, that's supporting the EOS blockchain. That's giving them more transactions and making them bigger.
Yeah, it's all about the this is what it is. I mean, it's like building highways without cars. I mean, we got to have applications running on this blockchain, and that's been probably the biggest problem with blockchain to this point. Obviously Bitcoin doesn't run applications, so Bitcoin's very successful, but the smart contract black coins have always been, there's been more talk than actual action. There's been more people that have talked about building than we have actually seen materialize, and that's always been a problem. And that's been something that people have put a lot of money into applications that have never done anything, and with the with the ICOs, a lot of the ICOs haven't materialized the way we'd like to have them see them materialize. So yeah, we're still trying to figure out what's going on here with the smart contract platforms. Okay, so got a lot of
Looks like
comments
it's
here.
a wrap. Got any more questions?
Yeah, I'm scrolling through them. A lot of them are just about Telos, EOS. I mean, everybody's trying to understand where this is going. I mean, that's probably the biggest question is where it's going. And the other thing
Yeah,
people are trying to figure out is kind of what Block One is going to do to make things happen. You know,
we're in
it's
the same boat.
yeah, I know that's not for us. That's the same questions we have. So,
Yeah.
if you're asking those questions, all we can do is just try to pay attention and figure out kind of what things are happening. I do feel personally that something eventually will break with EOS or EOS, however you want to say it, and that they will, probably get back to some of their, most of these other blockchains are reaching all-time highs. I mean, Bitcoin's way over all-time highs. I think Ethereum went over all-time highs. A lot of these blockchains are starting to go back to all-time highs. EOS is still way below their all-time high. I think their all-time high is a little, but over $21. So yeah, I think they got a lot of upside potential, and of course they're one of the players. You know, they've got some good stuff going on. So yeah, I would definitely be bullish on EOS. So yeah, it looks like that's about it. But we got some nice comments. I appreciate everybody participating that participated, and hopefully we can do this maybe once a week or twice a week. I don't know. We'll figure it out. You also do a podcast with George, don't you? And don't you do
Yeah, and Willow too. So we talked with Willow and George, who helped the project.
Mm-hmm.
We chat, and then we do an AMA on Instagram. George and I every Saturday. And so if anyone's on Instagram, it's 9 p.m., 9 a.m. Saturday morning Pacific time, and we take any questions about challenge on there. And then once a week, I try to put out a video with George and Willow, aka the Challenger Master, and we just talk about things that we're working on for that week. So
Okay, very good. Okay, so we've been going on for an hour and 7 minutes and 17, 18 seconds. So what's going to happen is I'm going to stop this project broadcast. It will be uploaded on my channel, which is EOS San Diego Bitcoin. What do I call it now? EOS Bitcoin San Diego. So you'll be able to find it there. You'll be able to read through all the comments there, and you'll be able to see it. Usually when they put it up, they don't put the entire hour and 7 minutes up at one time. You probably get the last 25, 30 minutes, and then it takes a few hours before they process the first half of the broadcast. So, but anyway.
all right, well, I'll go ahead and I'll log off, and then I'll let you wrap it up.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Chase. Appreciate it. Okay, bye. So there you go. That's my son. He's a developer. He's really the brains behind the challenge application, and we're just starting to turn the corner here. We've been doing this for a few years. We're starting to get people interested. We have Binance talking to us. We didn't reach out to Binance. Binance reached out to us. We've reached out to Telos, and they're talking to us very strongly. And of course, we're talking. We've always been talking to EOS. We've talked to them. We've talked to the block producers. We've talked to everybody with them. So, we feel like our application's got a lot of potential, and of course, it still trades very, very, very inexpensively on Nudex. So, we're working hard. We hear everybody on Telegram that has different ideas for us. There's a lot of people now want us to move over to Telos, and of course, we're trying to figure out a way to interact with a few blockchains. We'd like to interact with all of them. Is the one thing about an application is we have a lot of options available to us. When you have a single blockchain, you try to bring applications and dApps to running on your blockchain. But when you have an actual application running, and especially when they're running on a similar software like EOS and Telos are sister chains. I mean, basically they use Telos is using EOS's software, EOS.io software, to run their chain. They just do a little few different things with the governance and the worker proposals, and how the community operates and interacts is a little, there's a difference the way that works. But we're not giving up on EOS. Even if we do move over to Telos, we'll try to maintain our some presence on the EOS blockchain too. So don't feel like we're giving up on EOS and moving over to Telos, because that hasn't been the plan so far. We're trying to figure out a way to run on both blockchains simultaneously. So if you have that feeling then that we're just walking out on EOS, that's not true. We still feel very strongly about EOS. We feel like there's a lot of potential here. We feel like they have an extremely fast blockchain. With a lot of things that we feel very good about. So we're going to continue, and of course we'll be continuing with these live these live streams, and of course Chase has his AMA, and we try to be as available as possible. And the last and final thing I'd like to leave anybody with is, I'm looking for people to come on this channel that want to talk about the blockchain and EOS. If you want to talk about Bitcoin, if you want to talk about EOS, I have a little over 5,000 subscribers. Not a lot, big channel, but it's big enough that you're going to get a message out to somebody. So if you have any interest in this, any wanting to jump on with me like my son did today, I'd be happy to bring you on. So I think the best way for me to proceed with this channel is to interact with people and to have guests on and have other people talk with me about this, because one point of view is great, but it's always kind of nice to hear what somebody else has to say. And I've been giving my point of view for a few years now, and I'd like to bring a few other people on. So if you have an interest in coming on, let me know. I'd be happy to bring you on, just like I brought my son on. It's very easy to do. I will just send you a link. You can be on your cell phone or you can be on your computer. Just simply open a link and you're on. Then I can just bring you on and we can talk together. That's the way it works. So if you have an interest in that, let me know. I'd be happy to bring anybody else on to talk about this. I'm not, closed to other people talking, good, bad, or indifferent. If you want to just come on here and rant about what you like or don't like about EOS, or what rant or dislike about Bitcoin, feel free to come on. I'd like to hear what you got to say, because we've been at this for a few years, and as I know, everybody has an opinion and not everybody agrees, and not everybody wants to hear one person talk all the time. So in order to keep the channel, somewhat interesting, I'd like to bring more people on. So if you have an idea, or if you have something you want to talk about, feel free to come on, and we'll do what we did with my son today. We'll just sit there and kick it around a little bit. And if nothing else comes up here in the next few seconds, I'm going to sign off. Okay, sounds good. We'll talk to you later. Hopefully we'll have another broadcast in the next few days. Thank you very much.